In 2015, if you picked a random senator, you would have a 13% or 0.13 probability of getting one who had been in the Senate before 1995. Okay, so let's say A before 95, and the probability of A is given as 0.13. Okay. And a 43% probability, or a 0.43 probability, of getting someone who took office after 2010. Okay, so let's say B is after 2010, and the probability of that is given as 0.43. 0.43. Okay, now the question, what is the probability that you chose a senator who had been in office either since 1995 or took office after 2010? Okay, again, just as with the last problem, the key word here is or. So that tells us we're using the addition rule. So that's P of A. Well, let's say the probability of A or B is equal to the probability that A happens plus the probability that B happens minus the probability of both A and B. Okay, so took office after 2010. Okay, so that's event B. So that's what we have down here, event B. So find the probability that you chose a senator who had been in office since 1995. Well, here we have before 1995. So let's get rid of that because that's not what we need here. We need since 1995. All right, so even though that 0.13 was given in the problem, it's not going to be, we're not going to be plugging a 0.13 into the equation because that's not one of the two events. So let's redefine event A as being after the year 95. And now what's the probability of A? Well, let's look at this visually. Let's look at the timeline. So there's 1995, and I used blue for that, and the probability that someone started before 1995 was 13% or 0.13. That's given in the problem. And then we have the year 2010, and the probability that someone started after 2010, well, that's given in the problem. That's 0.43. So what's missing? Well, what's the probability someone started somewhere between 1995 and 2010? Well, if we know these three cases are the only three cases, so they must add up to 100%. So if we take 100%, we subtract 13%, we subtract 43%, then we're left with 44%, or 0.44. So if we take 1 minus the 0.13 minus the 0.43, that'll give us 0.44. So let's be more specific up here in our event. After 1995, but before 2010. Or we could say between 95 and 2010. So now the way we have this set up, these two events are disjoint. these are mutually exclusive. All three of these cases are mutually exclusive. You either started before 95, between 95 and 2010, or after 2010. So in this problem, we want the probability of A or B. So the probability of A, I'll use orange because that's what we have up here. So let's do it this way. Probability of A, and we use green for B. Okay. There we go. So the probability of A or B. Well, the probability of A that we're using here is 0.44 plus the probability of B, which is here, 0.43. And there's nothing to subtract because you can't be part of group A and group B at the same time. It's not possible. You can't have started before 2010 and after 2010. It's one or the other. So it looks like we have the probability of A plus the probability of B, and in this case we get 0.87. So that would be the probability of starting either since 1995 or after 2010.